Greetings. Welcome to Bitch Theater Light, I guess. I mean, it's still going to be, a complaints video, and I guess it's in the same vein as Bitch Theater, but it's going to be about one subject instead of several, so. Anyway. Happy Saturday night, everyone. And here's to you. My favorite red, Killian's. My favorite yellow, Goku. Let me clarify that. When I say yellow, I mean his hair. He's not Asian. He's a Saiyan. He's not Japanese. He's from another planet. So he's an alien. I was not being racist. I may have grown up in Caucasia, but I'm not racist. I actually did. Oh, that town. So, we're going to be talking about one subject today that has taken up a great deal of my life. And that is the perils of gigging out in a band. I just want to share my experiences that I've had over the years with you. And in case you're thinking about starting up a band or joining one, these are just some of the things that you might experience. Not all inclusive at all, but hopefully some of these are entertaining and informative, I guess. Although the times are different now. Things are a lot different from the way they used to be. And some things haven't changed. A lot of things have. I don't think it's worth it anymore to be in a band. At least locally. I mean, you have to start somewhere. So, I think live music is dying. I think maybe big bands will still have it for a while, but small bands are on their way out. There's just not that many venues anymore. There's not that many bands anymore. Not like there used to be. I mean, now before you couldn't swing a dead cat without smacking into a garage band around here. And thanks to the smoking ban, there's just not that many venues left to play it anymore. But that's a subject for another day. If ever. I'm going to go through some things, though, that I've experienced that are, I'm going to complain about. And hopefully you'll like them. Or like what I'm talking about, find them interesting. A little bit of a glimpse behind what it kind of takes to do what I do, or used to do. Let's start with playing empty venues. Start right out with the big guns, right? So, every musician I know that's been in the band has experienced this. You go to a venue, there's hardly anybody there. It's hard to get the energy up when that happens, and it's hard to keep it going when that happens. Kudos to those that can do it. I mean, there are, bands out there that will kick out high energy no matter who's in front of them, and they'll keep it going. And kudos definitely to those guys, because that's hard to do. I don't care what anybody says. My weakness for sure is if I don't have a crowd to feed off of, I can't feed back to them. It's just hard for me to do. And it also kind of is dependent on what music I'm playing as well. If it's hard music, it's easier for me to put out energy regardless. But if it's like the 80s, 90s, classic rock, pop rock, butt rock, it's harder for me to do things. It's harder for me to move around. I don't have those kind of moves. I never learned those kind of moves. I'm not Eddie Van Halen. That guy was great on stage. Made everything look super easy and buttery. So, but the downfall though of empty venues is sometimes the venues can turn on you when it happens. most venues understand you can just have a bad night. It could be anything. Bad weather, something more popular somewhere else that drew the crowd away. Whatever. Some venues don't understand. And that's happened to me. They'll just cancel your ass. No, I mean cancel like how today's cancel. Bands get canceled. The whole cancel bullshit, cancel culture. This is actually canceled. So, and I'm going to name bars by name, by the way, because fuck them. They talk shit and treat bands horribly. They talk shit about the bands openly. They deserve it right back, especially with how they treat bands nowadays. So, I'm not going to hold anything back. I mean, what do I have to lose anyway? I'm not going to be gigging out anytime soon. I don't want to do it. So, they wouldn't even know me anyway. They won't remember me. But, Buckley used to have a bar called Skyliner. It got sold and became something else. Athletic Club, I think, maybe? That sounds right. I don't know. And then it became something after that, I think. I don't even think it's standing anymore. Or if it is, there's nothing in there. But when I was there, Kim and Dave owned it. And I had a couple of bands that I played there with. One band was Bridget Bishop, and I was a bass player for that band from 2000 to 2003. We played there. And then I was a guitar player and singer for Suicide Moses, which later became Carbon. And we played from 2000 to 2010. And I don't know how long we played there at Skyliner with that band. It was past 2003, but I don't know by how much. I know it was probably close to when they were getting ready to sell it when we stopped playing there, but it wasn't because they sold it that we stopped. So we always did well for them. We brought in good crowds. Never really had dead nights. One night we had a dead night. And it's just, I don't know why. Kim and Dave approached me on stage. I mean, they stayed down on the floor, but they came right up to me, right as I was getting ready to start our set. On one of our sets. And they started railing on me about how nobody's there and it's our fault because we changed our set list. And now it's bad and it sucks now. And everything's our fault. Excuse me. And I tried telling them we didn't change anything with the exception of we added 4 songs. And that's it. I remember adding 4 songs. And I remember 2 of those songs being Godsmack, I Stand Alone, and Soil, the band Soil with their song Halo. The other 2 I don't remember, although I suspect it may have been a Seven Dust song, maybe a Deftones song. We were a bit heavier in that band. And we always went over well there until this night. We didn't have people there. And the people that were there just weren't participating. It was all our fault. Kept railing on me, and I kept trying to defend us, and I was trying to be diplomatic about it because I didn't want us to get fired. Then they brought their bouncer over, and the bouncer came over, which is somebody we always got along with. And they were like, don't you think they changed the set list, and that's why everything sucks in here now? And the bouncer just kind of made this face and was like, yeah, I think it is different. Yeah. I knew he was lying because he always liked us, and we got along great. But he knew where his bread was buttered, so it didn't matter what I said. They already had their mind made up, and they were going to fire us, and that's why they were the way they were. After the night was over, they said, they're not going to hire us anymore. They're canceling their dates with us, and then they never called us back. So that's what can happen when you have a bad night. Just one bad night. I think that's ridiculous. That's no room for error. And it probably wasn't even our fault. Who knows why nobody was there. And a lot of that comes down to advertising, which is something that is still to this day left up to bands. Even back in the old days, it was up to bands. You know, we always had to get the word out by telephone, by word of mouth, by flyers, by whatever means necessary, taking out ads in papers if we really wanted to. Which left us with no money afterwards because that shit's expensive. So we didn't usually do it. You know, like that movie Rockstar with Marky Mark, when he was out there, you know, stapling flyers to the telephone poles and shit, and putting stuff in the windshield wipers of cars. I mean, I never did that, but well, that's what I mean. It was always been left up to bands to advertise themselves, and you know, bands don't make any money. They never have. How are they expected to advertise themselves? So it's the bar's job. You want people to be there, you need to advertise the band. That's how the word of mouth gets out. That's how people decide they want to come to your establishment for that night. You know, sometimes they'll put flyers out inside their venue or dry erase board somewhere, marquee. What I really hate is when they have the marquee or even a dry erase board or even on Facebook, because Facebook is free, and they'll still do this. Even on Facebook, they'll do this. They'll say Friday, Saturday, live music. Fuck you. Put our fucking name on your site. Put our name on your marquee. Come on. What kind of lazy ass bullshit is that? And whatever excuse they want to use. Oh, the bands aren't dependable, so I don't know if they're going to show up, so I don't want to put their name up. Too fucking bad. You are an entertainment venue. You need to have stability. Don't do it to bands that never give you a cause to not put them up. No band have I ever been in has ever been undependable at a venue. Ever. Live music is such a cop-out. And that's what I'm saying. Even for that. I mean, they have free advertising on their own Facebook site and they'll still say live music. It's all up to us. It's ridiculous. Speaking of back in the day, in 1991, the first band I was in was Concrete Jungle. First gig we ever had was First Street Tavern in Manistee, Michigan. And we were paid $350 that night. Nowadays, the average is, and I do mean average, including most of the venues I've been in the last few years, $400 a night. After 33 years, it's gone up from $350 to $400. Come on. Every other profession is exponentially risen in their dividends, you could call it even. I don't even know if we have dividends in the music business, because everything we have goes right back into the band and right back into our equipment. So, but $50 over 33 years. And on top of that, not only are they not paying any more than way back in 1991, and I don't even know before 1991 what they were paying, because I wasn't gigging out back then before that. I was too young. So who knows how long it's been like that for. But not only are they not paying that much more, but they've taken away benefits from us. Like food. We used to get food all the time at gigs. All the time. They could tell us we could order whatever we wanted off the menu. We knew that was going to cost them money, so we usually tried to keep costs down, and we'd order like a pizza. Pizzas are like pennies to make back then. Still kind of are today. And it would feed the whole band. It was a win-win for both of us. Can't do that now. You know, you used to be able to get like a hamburger and some fries or whatever if you didn't want a pizza. Do it now, you're paying $10, $12. $10, $12. Full price. Not even a band discount. You're paying full price for food to the bar. Free drinks. You used to be able to get as many drinks as you wanted. Now, $4. Every place I played at, it's always $4. 1%. They've increased the number of your sets to 4 from 3. and you get one drink for it. And it's like mid or bottom shelf mixed or beer. My favorite red. And it's limited, and there's even a bar in Grand Rapids called River City Saloon that I played at that you get 4 drinks, but you can't start having them until you start playing at 9 o'clock. So if you wanted a few drinks before then to loosen yourself up and get ready for your first set to people, because a lot of times their first sets are the toughest because there's not that many people there and they're not in party mode yet. You want to be a little more loose so you can interact with them better and get them going faster. You don't always need that. I mean, if you have to use that as a crutch, if you have to use that as a crutch, it may not be an indication of a good front person or a good band presentation, but it helps. I don't give a shit. I'm going to admit it. It helps. It helps me. It helps me to react to the crowd more, to have a few drinks. It's just ridiculous that you can't start until after you start playing. And, of course, their food is full price. I don't think they even have pizza. But, they don't even give you more than one night per weekend. They usually have 2 different bands on one on Friday, one on Saturday. In the good old days, you'd go there, you'd set up your equipment, you'd play through the night, you go home, come back the next day right before you start playing again, maybe do a quick sound check, play through the night, and then either tear down and go home that night or come back the next day and tear down because you had that whole weekend to do that with. Can't do that now. Now you go in there like 5 o'clock, you set up your shit, and then you do a sound check, and then you play through. And then as soon as you're done playing your last song of the last set, you're out of there. No encores, no anything, because you need to get the fuck out. You have all that equipment you have to get out to your cars and stuff, trucks. All the teardown that happens before that, you need to get out before the bar is completely empty because the bar staff doesn't want to be sitting there while you're tearing down your equipment. They'll get pissed at you now. They didn't always like it before either, back in the day, but now they really don't like it. You know, if you're still tearing down while they're done and wanting to go home, you're going to hear about it. And, you know, the thing is, you know, you can't smooth with the people anymore after your last song. You can't do anything. You can't enjoy yourself or relax for a minute and take a breather. You gotta get out. All in one night. And then you get home at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, especially if you're working downstate and live up here in Traverse City. Long days. And you get $100 for that. Just $100 for 12 hours worth of work. Anybody want to do the math on that? Let's see. Gosh, $10. Less than $10 an hour? $10 an hour would be $120. You get $100 for 12 hours worth of work. Well, you're not there for 12 hours. Some of that's driving home. So 10 hours. So 10, 100. It's about $10 an hour. And, you know, you have the lack of food. You have now an extra set that you have to do that we never used to have to do before. You start at 10 o'clock at night, be done by close, and you get out. Maybe do an encore or 2. Now you start at 9 o'clock, which means a whole another set you have to add on. So now you're doing 4 sets a night. No extra pay for it, by the way, even though you're there longer. Some places want you to start at 8, so that's 5 sets. No extra pay. It's all balled up in there. They think that we're making so much money from this. These bar owners think we're making money hand over fist, and we're not. Not even close. Especially after you factor in gas, maybe food, buying cables and shit that you have to replace. If you have to do that. everything goes right back into the band, pretty much. And whatever's left, you might have to use for bills at home or something. We're not making jack shit. Never have, never will. Let's go now to the crowd work, where people are in the bar and they're interacting with you, and then they get drunk and they start saying some shit. One thing that you'll hear is, play something we can dance to. Now, this isn't necessarily because you're playing undanceable music. It's because you're not playing what they want to hear right at that second. Because you're expected to be a jukebox and you're supposed to play top 40 hits all the time. Always. Every song has to be a hit. Different folks like different songs. Some people like this hit. Some people like this hit. These don't like this one. These don't like this one. You can't make everybody happy all the time. They're going to let you know about it. My old bass player, Chris Halton, that was in Suicide Moses, got sick of it just like I did. He started answering back in the mic when they would say that. And he would say, if you can't dance to this song, you can't dance. Which was true. We always played danceable music. I loved it when he said that. And just us being a jukebox, and people always come up and request this and request that, and that's fine. But either we're going to know it or we're not. And if we don't, chances are we're not going to try it. Sometimes for a goof, we may screw around with it and see if we can get through it at all, but usually we can. It ends up being a train wreck. We just try to remember what we hear on the radio when it's on the radio. But, I mean, we're not jukeboxes. You know, we're not there just to take song requests all night. We're not a fucking DJ. I mean, DJs have really, really ruined most venues for live music. And before the smoking ban hit. And the smoking ban is a whole different ball of wax. We're not going to get into that today. But DJs single-handedly have put such a huge, horrible dent on live music performance. And they get gigs because every single song they play is top 40, is a hit, but it's all because it's dance club shit. And dance club music you can't mess with, as long as it goes, or, you know, whatever. Well, that's rave music, but you know what I'm saying. Everything that's got a beat to it, everybody can dance to, that's club type shit. You know, that's what they play. They don't really do anything besides set up a couple of speakers, plug your laptop into a small mixing board, if that, and then blast it out, and that's it. One person, they're cheaper than bands, usually a couple $100 cheaper, so they're way attractive to owners. Small setup with, you know, a couple of speakers, maybe a sub. And that's if the house doesn't have their own PA system for them to just hook their laptop into, which I've seen happen many times as well. Talk about easy fucking money. So, I have no respect for DJs. I never will. And I hate what they did to live music. So, we're just not jukeboxes, and I don't want people to expect that from us. If we can do your song, great, we will do it. If we can't, don't tell us that we suck or we're not a good band because we can't play the song you requested. It's not indicative of our skill level at all. It's indicative of the fact that we don't know it. Songs take practice to learn, you know? And that takes time. And there was also times we had to compete with jukeboxes. This band, or this bar called Cold Creek Inn in Beulah, Michigan. Everything's going to be in Michigan, by the way, so I might as well just quit saying Michigan. Cold Creek Inn had a jukebox that was just as loud as our PA system was. And they'd leave it on while we were playing our sets, which isn't unusual. Everybody, you know, every band, bar does that. However, at this one particular weekend we were there, the crowd apparently didn't like what we were doing. And it wasn't because we sucked, because we played at plenty of other places and we were loved. We were just fine. It was this one particular night at this one particular place. They started playing the jukebox right in the middle of our set. And I'd have to stop mid-song and ask the staff to turn the jukebox off. And it kept happening. After the fourth time it happened, I told the staff, look, if this happens one more time, we're going to pack up and you guys can have the jukebox. Okay? And you're going to pay us. And I don't know if they would have paid us or not. Obviously, I can't beat them down for it, but they were like, oh, we're so sorry, we're so sorry. And then they went and complained to their owner, Z. Fuck ever. Z, my name is Z. I'm so cool, I'm hip. Fuck her. And she got mad at us because I said that to him. Your clients are playing the jukebox in the middle of our set. What do you want me to do? Be understanding? Be sympathetic? Anyway, everyone always wanting to sing and play with us at a gig is out there too. I mean, there was a time when other musicians I knew would come and want to do that, and that's fine. As long as I know you, I trust you. But if you're a stranger and you're not a musician, or even if you're just a stranger, period, even if you are a musician, I'm not going to trust you. And case in point, this one guy came up to us and wanted to sing Crazy Bitch from fucking ass Buckcherry. I hate that band. I hate that song. I don't know why women like it so much. Listen to the lyrics. Anyway. I mean, I guess they like being told that all they're worth is a fuck. But I digress. So, this guy wanted to sing it. And I didn't know him. And we were like, we don't think it's a good idea. Oh, I'll be fine. And I don't know you, but we're not going to do that. This chick comes up that knew him and was trying to convince us, oh, he's great. He'll do great. Let him do it. Let him do it. I don't think so. We're not going to. Well, are you guys too big and egotistical and need the spotlight on yourselves all night? Here we fucking go. So we let him do it. Now the song begins with the da-dun, da-dun, wow, da-dun. Okay. And the singer during the da-dun, da-dun, all right. That's how it goes. This guy went da-dun, da-dun. Hey, I'm a crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it in your dream. And he kept singing the chorus over and over and over. He didn't know the verses. He didn't know anything. He didn't stop for any of the musical pauses. He just kept singing the chorus over, out of time, out of tempo, everything. Just kept doing it over. We made it till about almost through the first chorus. So it'd be like the intro, the verses, and then the first chorus. We got about that far, and we stopped. And we're like, okay, well, thanks for coming up and jamming with this dude. You did great. Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. We're going to take it from here, though, okay? And then his friends started booing us and shit. And it's like, oh, calm the fuck on. He was murdering it. I don't think we responded to it, but, we didn't let him continue to butcher it. He muttered something as he went off the stage. I'm sure it wasn't anything nice. But we finished. We restarted the song and played it all the way through. And it did okay. I mean, we got some dancers on the floor. But, I don't know. That was probably the last time I ever had anybody come up on stage with us. Unless I very much knew them. So, strangers, it's even in Better Desire when we were out there. People kept wanting to come up and just sing with us, and Kim would let him do it. And a lot of times they did okay. Kim was our singer, but sometimes, man, they weren't that good. But it still happens, and it's just people just think that they can just get up with a band and play, and they want to be a rock star in front of all their friends, and it's like, you can risk it, but we're gonna sound like shit. Everybody's going to blame us because you suck and you can't do it. And then we're going to be the ones looking bad. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, let's go with power supplies to the stage. Dirty power supplies or under strength. Happens a lot. And stop putting us on the same circuit as the rest of your bar. It's such a It sucks. And when it's underpowered, I can't count how many times we've killed the power at a venue that we were at. Especially if we have a powerful sub or two going on. Subs will suck a power out in a hurry. Even if you have good power conditioners going on, power attenuators and all that stuff, it's still capable to kill the fuse box, the breaker box. Not kill it, but trip it. So, it's just, if you're going to have a bar and you're going to have bands, connect good power supplies to the stage. Even Streeters had problems when we were there, when we played up on their stage. Speaking of which, venues can kill your equipment with that kind of stuff, especially if you have a dick staff member that, like say you're playing too loud, and instead of talking to you about it respectfully like they should be doing professionally, they decide they're going to go to the breaker box and just trip the breaker on you and turn all your shit off. Back in the day, I didn't say anything when that would happen because I was non-confrontational. I just kind of did what I was told by whoever was leading the band at the time. Nowadays, if that were to happen to me, and it hasn't happened in many years, but if that were to happen to me now, I would be beating that person's ass. And if I couldn't beat their ass, I would find an equalizer to beat their ass with. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. It has nothing to do with that. That can kill your equipment. That can fry your board. It can fry your amps. It can pop out your lights and all your light packs. Light packs. And they don't give a shit about that. It doesn't come out of their pocket. It comes out of yours. Anything that gets ruined at a venue comes out of your pocket. If a drunk comes along and pours a beer into your amp or on your mixing board and it fries, it comes out of your pocket. Even though the bouncer's not there doing their fucking job like they're supposed to, keeping people away from you and your stuff, still comes out of your pocket. Everything comes out of your pocket. They pay for nothing. That's why I'd be pissed. My amp over there, Mesa Boogie, the head alone cost cost around $3,000. I mean, $2,500 to $3,000, somewhere there, 28 maybe, I think it was. I don't have $2,800 to replace that if that fries. And they're not going to pay me. They're not going to replace it for me. Fuck no. If I lose that, I'm fucked. Oh, you can bring cheaper amps, and it doesn't matter what you bring. It's still going to fry. You still got to replace it. It still costs money. They don't understand that. They don't give a shit about that. It's horrible that venues just don't give a shit about bands or their stuff. So, with that shit paid, here's $400. We refried your amp. Here's $100 for each of you. And for that $100 that we get per person, $400 for the band, we do a lot of extra shit for that, like birthdays, for instance. We'll bring people up on stage for their birthday. We'll sing to them. We'll embarrass the shit out of them in front of all their friends. They love that shit. Everybody eats that stuff up. It's a lot of fun. We learn songs for venues. We learn songs for occasions that we get hired for, like weddings. The very first wedding I played was in the first band I was in, Concrete Jungle, our first working band. We were hired to play a wedding, and we were requested to learn 3 songs. 2 of them were AC/DC, Hell's Bells. And the other one was Sweet Child of Mine from Guns N' Roses, and I think the third one was some kind of Poison song, maybe Every Rose Has a Thorn, maybe. And we did a few Poison songs back then, so I don't know, but we learned them, and we played them, and we did pretty well. Bruce, our guitar player, fuck that, Bruce Hayes, he nailed the Sweet Child of Mine solo, man. It was great. All the stuff in there, he did awesome. I mean, we did well. To my knowledge, we didn't get thanked for learning those extra songs. I mean, I didn't, and Rob McGregor, our drummer and our vocalist at the time, I don't know if he was ever thanked for anything, but all I can tell you is that I wasn't, and I never heard anything about it, so I don't know. It doesn't seem like it was appreciated. didn't get any tips for it. We got the basic pay that we got for doing the whole wedding. That was a weird gig, though. Man, I was so young when we did that, and it was kind of surreal. It was very awkward because we had a lot of old people there, and what happened was, and kids, little kids, as soon as the wedding was over, we were already set up and ready to go in the hall for the reception. So as soon as everybody came in there, we started playing, and we played from start to end. The reception didn't seem to last that long, it seemed like, but but we played through dinner. They had a big dinner there that everybody took part of. I mean, they had actual food. It wasn't like, McDonald's hamburgers were passed out. They had, dinner. And I remember us playing live wire while people are eating hamburgers and kids are trying to eat their pudding and stuff. And live wire from Motley Crue, that's a heavy song. It's got the heavy guitars, and then the drums, as soon as the drums kick in, double bass and everything. Just a heavy song, and these old people are trying to eat their hamburgers, or we're playing live wire. And then, the kids are eating their stuff. Oh, that was so weird. It was so uncomfortable, so awkward. I know they hated us. The bride and groom liked us, but everybody else, I'm sure they just hated the shit out of us. But, so, but we just do a lot of extra shit, and bands don't get appreciated for stuff like that. And then there's the lack of commitment by band members. That's a big drama thing right now. Especially when in Better Desire, we had that issue with our drummers. Holy fuck. The first drummer we had was only around for a few gigs, and then he left to do something he thought was better. Fine, more power to you. Second drummer we had after that, he was good. He learned everything. He was probably, in my opinion, the best drummer that we had. His name was Woody, and he was he's a decent guy, and I think he was the best that we had. The first guy's name was Ed. And again, naming names, Woody, there's no shit for him. I mean, he was decent. He eventually left for family stuff they had to take care of and all that. And then we got these other guys. Fuck sakes. None of them learned everything. Didn't even try. They said they were going to, never did. Train wrecked a bunch of shit and just kind of muddled through it. And there was one guy that wouldn't show up to gigs. We had these gigs that were on the books for months, and he wouldn't show up to them. There was a time when he called in the morning and said, "I'm not going to make it. I don't feel good, and you got to get somebody else for tonight." So we had all day to find somebody. We come to find out, and we did find somebody. Come to find out, we were playing down in Grand Rapids, and he ended up playing with another band up in Ludington that night. That was a slap in the balls, right? And then the next time it happened, he canceled somewhere around either 2 or 3 hours before we were scheduled to start playing. He didn't even call Kim, our singer, texted her, "I don't feel good. You're going to have to find a replacement for me tonight." She scrambled, and she found somebody. We were able to, pull it off. I mean, I think she had to talk the guy into it because, to my knowledge, he wasn't available that night, and she got him to do it. I'm sure it wasn't anything like that, but he was married anyway, so. But she was really good at that. I mean, several times this happened, and she found somebody every time. So big props to her for sure. I couldn't do that. I had drummers up here that I tried a few weeks beforehand to replace him, the asshole drummer. And I can't remember his name, or I'd call his ass out. But anyway, but the drummers I found up here that I knew weren't available, and I didn't really expect them to be. But I failed a few weeks out. She did day of, and she still found people, so that was good. But lastly, real quick thing, I just want to say, support your local bands, man. Stop with it. the shit where a band is in your town and you don't want to go see them even though you know them. You don't want to go see them because it's just inconvenient and they're a whole 5 to 10 minutes away from you. But you'll drive 4 or 5 fucking hours to go downstate and watch Motley fucking Crue. And Vince Neil, hey, give me a hill, give me a hill, give me a hill, give me a hill. You can't understand the fucking word the guy says. He lost his ability to sing a long time ago. And I'm not making this up. Go on YouTube. Look at him. You'll see. Fucking Motley Crue. Anyway, I pick on those guys a lot. And they have more money than I'll ever see. But support your local bands, man. Go see them. You know, when you have a friend that's in a band and they, hey, we're playing tonight. Maybe once in a while I'll go see them. You know? Be kind of nice. They need you. They need the butts in the seats, so to speak. That's how they get work. That's how they get gigs. They need you. The venues need you too, because they could dry up someday too. Speaking of drying up, this is going to be dried up soon. Like that. Goku is dried up. I'm all out. I'm bitching. So we're going to say adieu. And thank you for watching this far. I want to give definitely a big shout out to those who have been watching lately. I've experienced a big spike in views. And that's really cool. And I appreciate all of you for it. I never thought anybody would find my shit interesting. I apologize for all the hacking I've been doing on my guitar playing. It has been sloppy in the last few videos. I'm going to try to do better with that. But nonetheless, thank you so much for all the views. I mean, they've doubled to tripled or more on some of them. So that's pretty awesome. So thanks again. Thanks for watching this one. And listening to me bitch. And watching Goku Hysteria. And me burp after drinking a bunch of beer. So, happy Saturday night. Enjoy your Super Bowl tomorrow. Lots of chips and dip. And love ya. We'll see you next time.